Staying with the governing party, a group of ANC members is planning to interdict the Tshwane Regional Conference if their disputes are not resolved at 8 this evening. Let's get the latest from our reporter Treaty Jones, who's at the conference taking place at the Indaba Hotel in Fourways. He joins us now. Pule, so late in the game, but another group of disgruntled ANC members saying that they should be eligible to vote at this conference. They are, however, being kept out. Give us the latest.
Definitely. I think it's just about 2 hours before that 8 p.m. time frame line. They've given the ANC national leadership to attend to their grievances and, of course, the regional leaders to escalate their matters. Amongst others, they believe that some of the biannual branch general meetings weren't accommodated to actually participate in this conference, saying they were denied that access. This is something that's been raised by this angered group who are aligned to the incumbent Tshwane chairperson Kgosi Mayepa. Maybe if we can just take a listen to what they had to say earlier on about this before I give the opportunity to speak to the ANC Tshwane spokesperson regarding this matter.
Some of the issues that they are of concerning, the conference is continuing, the disputes are continuing. And when the disputes are dealt with at the provincial level, they must appeal at national, while the conference is still continuing. So the question you are asking is that how can the conference continue when there are two layers of dispute? Provincial dispute resolution committee, then you also have got national dispute resolution committee. So we have exhausted all internal ANC processes. We have sent letters, we have got those copies of the letters. Then we think we must get a redress somewhere else where we can get the justice on these particular issues.
And what motivates it to be urgent? Because we've seen this happening as well, the play of those trying to interdict provinces. We've seen it at a provincial level during the Eastern Cape Provincial Conference, and now this.
It qualifies the agency because we knew today. We did not know that there are disputes that they must be resolved. The dispute must be resolved, they must be concluded, and then the conference sit. We need the conference to sit and deal with all other issues. So that is the only thing that we are trying to deal with.
Pula, I believe you've got a guest to give us some clarity on what the way forward is going to be this evening, leading up to that 8 o'clock deadline.
Definitely, without any wasting of time, I'm joined by the Tshwane ANC spokesperson, Bafuze Yabo. Thank you very much for joining us, Bafuze. It's been a very long day for all of us, and the conference is still in progress. But now we're seeing this attempt to try and have it interdicted by a group of angered ANC group members, most importantly, aligned to the Tshwane chairperson, Kgosi Mayepa. What's your response on that?
Well, this is an informal information that we're getting. And I suppose we will only be able to respond substantively once a formal process unfolds, which will then be received by the regional coordinator in that capacity. As it stands, it's a threat or a rumor, and until a substantive court papers are presented, only then we can say there's a matter to look at. And of course, due process will have to be followed to respond to such.
You're saying it's a threat or a rumor. We've seen the document. One of their clauses there says that, or rather paragraph says that they have tried to reach out to you to say that some of the BGGMs didn't qualify, yet they did qualify. They're also saying that they've tried to reach out to you and you've been ignoring them. So are you then saying that you will let it until the 8 p.m. deadline and you will just wait until the court papers are finalized and you'll take action from there on it?
If you remember what we said earlier during the day, we had said that the formal processes of disputes had been handled within the timelines provided for in the guidelines. And any new matter that would have emerged during the process of beginning conference would have been looked at circumspectly within the confines of the guidelines. And anything beyond that is overreaching, because we cannot go outside of the confines of what is provided for within the processes of the organization through guidelines and the Constitution. And anything that is outside of that span really is limiting to us as leadership. And I've said at the regional level, we had disposed of all matters that were before the Regional Dispute Resolution Committee. That report was presented to us twice already, yesterday and today, that the region had disposed. Anything else had to be dealt with at the provincial level and at the national level. National confirmed to us that there are no appeals sitting at that level. They had disposed of everything at their level. Only the Provincial Dispute Resolution Committee had said there may be 2-3 matters that are in front of them that they must still dispose of, which we had the confidence that the leadership of the Provincial Dispute Resolution Committee would dispose of within the confines of the guidelines.
So you're not aware of any dispute matters that were taking place during conference?
We are aware that there are comrades who would have introduced their disputes to the conference steering committee, arguing that they would not have been given a fair hearing. But that can only be addressed within the confines of the existing guidelines. And fair hearing needs to be determined by a fairly competent body within the structures of the ANC to determine whether it meets that muster or it doesn't. And this is where it has been referred. And this is why I'm saying at the level of the region, the Regional Dispute Resolution Committee has emphasized to us as the leadership that they had disposed of all matters before them. And the next stages and levels that were now available to those who would have been disgruntled by the decisions taken at that level would have had to go to the province. And if they are unhappy with what the province has decided and given as a verdict, they must now escalate it to national. National has said we have no appeals at our level. Concerning Tshwane, we have cleared the backlog. If there's anything, go back down and see if there's anything there in the pipeline. We can confirm at the level of the region the pipeline was cleared.
Would you say this is an attempt to try and discredit the legitimacy of this conference currently holding?
Well, I wouldn't put my opinion on that matter except to say whatever agenda is being driven or pushed will only be seen with a formal presentation to the regional coordinator of papers if they have been submitted to a competent court of law, and it will be addressed as such. Any other matter that is raised as a grievance can only be treated through a process established by the leadership, both the NEC and the PEC, as observers to this conference, to resolving issues as and when they arise in the during the duration of conference as it sits. And that process is to take it through the conference steering committee and the elections committee that would have been established to deal and dispose of matters as and when they arise.
Just the last question before I throw back to my colleague in studio. There's been allegations of a security breach here as well, and that there's been more tags issued than having ordered. Is that true?
No, it is not true. I think what we have seen is that comrades have a silly way of exchanging tags to let each other in when they are not allowed to, and we have corrected the breach. We have attended to it as soon as
it did take place. Did the breach take place?
It appears that it might have. The information that came to us is that we needed to verify people who were attempting to come into the venue. And we immediately were able to say, no, those are not accredited. They cannot come in. Tags are issued to specific individuals. And if it's not the individual coming in with a tag, that person must not come in.
Okay. Bafuze, thank you very much for joining us this evening on eNCA. That's the Tshwane ANC spokesperson. Bafuze, giving us an update on what will be happening annually in terms of that memorandum with a set of grievances that has now been distributed by these angered ANC group members who have threatened the party in the region to say that if their demands are not met, they're rushing to court. We have it on good authority that some of their lawyers were actually in chambers at the High Court in Johannesburg, where they're waiting for the ANC to respond to them. Failure to do that, we will be seeing these papers being filed, and we'll be giving you an update as to what the ANC is saying thereof, because they're saying they will only wait for legal documentation or for the group to follow legitimate ANC processes before they can respond to that move.
Pule, just to clarify, I have in my hand here the legal papers with the details of the grievances. But it sounded there from the ANC Tshwane spokesperson as if they had not received these papers yet. Could you get clarity on that from him? Maybe I missed that.
Well, what he's saying is that they are aware of this rumor, and of course, this word that has been circulating around in this area regarding that move to actually try and interdict the regional conference taking place here. But what he's saying is that they will wait for some sort of formal communication to actually see how they can respond to this matter, whether through a court papers being filed or through an ANC body which can then instruct them to tell them how they can take this matter forward. The regional coordinator who will receive those legal papers will then advance the talks as to what can happen. For now, they're turning a blind eye to it, saying all green, go. The regional conference should continue till around midnight. But if they receive that formal communication, that's where we may be seeing perhaps the steering committee coming together and giving us more talks as to what is the way forward and what is happening.
Thank you very much, Tshwane Jones, on the ground for us at the Indaba Hotel in Fourways, where that Tshwane Regional Conference is being held this evening. For more reaction